Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, it's TPM5. I make NBA content and I have some news for you guys. In this one, I'm going to be talking about how the Los Angeles Lakers have signed DJ Augustin and have cut DeAndre Jordan from their roster in order to make room for the veteran guard. Now, the Lakers will be adding Wenyen and Gabriel to a two-way contract as well. Here's someone that played against them in the 2020 playoffs with Portland. But just going into the video now, without further ado, the Lakers had a 27-33 record so far this season, 9th in the Western Conference. A very big disappointment, arguably, or probably, yes, they are the biggest disappointment in the league so far, coming from a Lakers sympathetic perspective as well. The team is 25th out of 30 teams in offensive rating, a real big step back from an area which they're never particularly elite at, but were always, in the top half of the league. And then you look at defensive rating, they're only marginally better. And given that's somewhere where Frank Vogel has made his name as an NBA coach, given, he doesn't have many pieces on that end, and he, doesn't really have many defensive specialists because of that Russ trade and the way they've built the roster around LeBron and AD and Russ. But, in the end, they're not really good on either part of the floor. Now, getting DJ Augustin won't really help their defense, but I'll continue on that in a moment. Now, I make NBA content 2 times a week. I'd heavily appreciate it if you guys subscribed and stuck around. Also, comment what you think for this move, any Lakers fans watching, and if we have any Bucks or Magic fans, what should we be expecting from DJ Augustin, considering that you guys have had him most recently, and then the Rockets too. So, going into what I was saying from before, DJ Augustin is a guy that over the course of his career shot the 3 ball at 38% from 3.5 attempts per game. He most recently and significantly is known for playing on the Orlando Magic from 2016 to 2020. He did also start his career as a lottery draft pick in 2008, so obviously he does have some pedigree. He has been out of the league, and his most recent stint was with the Houston Rockets, where he did actually shoot 40% from 3, which is an encouraging sign for the Lakers. Now, DJ Augustin is not a flashy point guard. He's not someone that's going to come in and average 15 points a game and be an instant spark plug, but he's someone who can set his teammates up, and he can also be a very crucial piece in a rotation in the playoffs, given that the Lakers can actually make it to the playoffs. So when you look at DeAndre Jordan, it's a shame to see him go, just I guess because the pedigree he has in this league and because he's a fairly decent name. However, he's not someone that is going to, he hasn't really played many minutes, and even back in Brooklyn, towards the end of his time there, he didn't really look that good, so it was always puzzling to see why the Lakers actually brought him in. Now, DeAndre Jordan himself, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, might be joining the Philadelphia 76ers, as they have emerged as frontrunners to sign him. However, the 76ers will have to be acting pretty quickly, given the deadline is tomorrow for playoff eligibility, which is also why the Lakers have made this move as well, because they need to get in before playoff eligibility passes. And they can sign players, but they just won't be playing in the playoffs for them, of course, if the Lakers make it. Now, a question I have, given that I don't really believe that DJ Augustin is going to create a world of change for this Lakers team in a really honest perspective. The Lakers have already tried out guys like Darren Collison, Isaiah Thomas, who kind of fit a similar point guard, undersized kind of role. Obviously, Collison was coming out of retirement, but you look at some of the players that the Lakers have tried and they didn't really have an impact. I think this is a move that in the end could be good, and it could become a rotational piece, or, it could just not work out. I think the Lakers were never really going to play DeAndre Jordan consistently when AD is healthy, which is another thing in and of itself. But, taking this chance on Augustin is smart, I think, because it gives them bench depth. He can shoot the ball, and when Russ, there's situations with Russ where he has to sit, Augustin is a proven playoff, kind of bench guy, or a player who can play a fairly decent amount of minutes. Now, when you look at Wenyen and Gabriel, that's just a 2-way contract. I doubt much will come from that, but they're just obviously filling a spot. Now, also, it is worth noting that the Lakers cost themselves roughly $5 million in luxury tax payments by not trading DeAndre Jordan at the trade deadline. So obviously, that's a bit of poor management financially, but obviously, the Lakers made the move now. Now, my final thoughts on this move: Augustin will help them on the offensive end when it comes to 3-point shooting and being a veteran head that knows how to create and make an offense work. However, I don't really rate him on the defensive end, so I think this move, obviously it probably is a win for the Lakers, given that DJ wasn't going to play, but I don't think it's going to make a world of difference. So that is the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.